Hey, thanks for tuning in to Twang and Bang. By now, many of you probably recognize the reticle in that opening clip as the ACSS by Dimitri of Primary Arms. The advanced combined sighting system reticles come in a few different flavors, including the one in this Gen 3 second focal plane 1:6 optic. Primary Arms sent this to me at my request because I had seen a number of really favorable reviews from people I trust. After using this for a couple of months, I can say it's everything that it was cracked up to be at a price that leads a lot of people into thinking it's not as nice as it is. However, an MSRP under $290 means that an extremely versatile optic is within the budget of many shooting enthusiasts, which is why the Primary Arms second focal plane Gen 3 1:6 is what's coming up next on Twang and Bang. This is the third generation of the Primary Arms 1:6x24 magnified optic. Its 10.4-inch overall length and 15.52-ounce total weight are built on a 30mm tube. Illumination is adjustable through 11 intensity settings and is powered by one CR2032 battery. The windage cap has storage for an additional battery in the event that you forget to power off and drain the one in the scope. Total elevation and windage adjustments span 100 MOA, each in half MOA increments. The turrets can be zeroed by using a screwdriver or fingernail to turn the indicator dial until the zero lines up with a dimple machined into the turret cap threads. The ACSS reticle is nominally calibrated for M193-556, but can be true to make first round hits on an E-type for all standard 5.56 rounds, 5.45, and even 308. In this scope, it's placed in a second focal plane, which means that the size stays the same regardless of magnification. At 6 power, the subtensions in the ACSS reticle provide 2 methods of auto ranging, elevation holds out to 800 yards, including 5-mile-per-hour wind holds, as well as walking and running leads out to 200 yards. Ranges can be quickly estimated in 2 ways. The ladder on the right is calibrated to bracket 5 feet 10 inches at the indicated ranges. The crossbars in the reticle itself are calibrated to span 18 inches at the ranges indicated, with the horseshoe bracketing a span for 200 and 300 yards as shown. Out to 200 yards, you can use the horseshoe to lead a walking target and the dots to lead a running target. The dots running down the rest of the reticle are holes for a 5-mile-per-hour wind. Even though most of the reticle looks like it's dedicated to shooting at distance, the ACSS is also an excellent close-range optic at 1 power. This has a focusable ocular lens, and it's actually a really easy thing to adjust. The best way to do this is with 2 eyes open. Just put the scope up, have both eyes open, look at a target, and then just dial the focus until you get a nice, sharp image with both eyes open. And that's actually going to get your parallax dialed in, because you actually can impact how much parallax is in an optic by the focus. It'll get that dialed into where the target's going to stay still, the reticle is going to stay still, everything's going to be in focus. Way easier than sitting there with one eye closed and, well, is that fully sharp? Is that blurry? You know, you can spend a lot of time getting nitpicky with the focus if you're trying to do it with one eye closed, but with both eyes open, you'll see. You just dial it and you'll be like, ah, the angels will sing, the light will come down from the heavens, and you know, that's it, you got it. Once you get it adjusted, then it's like using a red dot with 2 eyes open. I don't get any of that wonkiness when I put it up there like I do with magnified optic that doesn't have as good glass at 1 power. There's almost no parallax to it. It's better than actually 1 or 2 red dots that I've used. I got a nice image as I'm coming up and getting on the reticle. And that horseshoe really draws my eye to the chevron. I'm not aiming with the horseshoe. I'm a big proponent of aim small, miss small, but I'm using that horseshoe to bring my eye right to the chevron, and I'm doing my aiming with the chevron itself. Shooting with both eyes open at close ranges is important to me, which is why I've shied away from using magnified optics on HD guns. I was told I didn't have anything to worry about with this scope in that regard, and I was told right. I had no issues adapting to this optic even after years of running various red dots for shooting this close. This is definitely not something most other reviewers expected to see in a scope at this price range, but Primary Arms managed to pull it off. can have both eyes open, but I'm getting a little gas in my eye. This is really getting dirty now. That's the gun and silencer. That's not the optic though. I'm really excited about this optic because I've been wanting to adopt a 1:6 since having a conversation with a friend of mine who happened to retire as NCOIC as Spartec. Pretty good friend to have. But he was sold on putting magnified optics on guns, even like an HD SBR, because yeah, this has illumination when you want it, but if the electronics go, your battery dies, you don't have a replacement, you don't have to worry about it. The reticle is still going to be there for you. So you have illumination to help you out if you need it, but it's not like it's a completely dead optic like a red dot would be if the power goes, if the electronics go. Plus, not only does it work very much like a red dot at 1 power for stuff up close, but then it gives you the capability to reach out there if you need to. Not in your common home defense scenario would you need 6 power, but if it became an uncommon scenario, the optic's there ready to go for you with 6 power magnification, auto ranging capability, and subtensions to be able to hit out to 800 yards, all in one optic. Since this is a second focal plane scope, you need to go all the way to 6 power for the subtensions to line up at their indicated ranges. For the M855 I'm shooting with this 11.5 inch SBR, I'm zeroing 1 inch high at 100 yards per the recommendations of the owner's manual. This isn't a match grade setup by any stretch, but it's plenty good for what I need it to do. At 200 yards, you really just need to center the chevron and send it. This kept every round on the 6-inch swinger. The chevron's big enough that you could probably get a more precise point of aim if you wanted to, but precision shooting is not the point of this setup. At 300 yards, the top of the center post is your point of aim. Though the grass presented a bit of a defilade for aiming, I had no problems keeping every round on this 10-inch swinger. It's a heavy target to get swinging with 5.56, but the telltale ping of bullet hitting steel let me know the reticle was doing its job. At 400 yards, the targets became smaller than the groups I'm able to print at that range with this setup, but I was still getting a good percentage of hits by aiming dead center with the 400-yard crosshair. Even my misses were close enough that I'd be hitting an E-type every time at that range, and that's all I really need to be able to do. At 550 yards, I'm just bracketing the E-type's vitals between the 500 and 600 yard crosshairs and sending them. I could hear the ping with each shot to let me know I was hitting somewhere on the target, but it took a few rounds before I could see the paint graying out on the right side of the target at chest level. Again, all I want to do with this setup is get rounds on target quickly at that range, and the ACSS reticle makes it easy. Good boy. Yes. You gonna help me with this? I guess so. The most notable weakness of this scope is that eye relief tightens up quite a bit as you increase the magnification. It's probably the one thing that you'll notice that lets you know you're not using a scope that costs several times what this does. But in practical use, if you're going to be taking shots at something where you need 6 power to do it, you're going to have the time to find the eye box. I know I haven't had any problems with it, but it's definitely something you need to be aware of before committing to buying this scope. After years of using a red dot on my go-to SBR, I've made the switch to this. This is permanently mounted now on this SBR. At 1 power, it gives me everything that I like about my red dot scopes, less being able to keep the illumination on at all times. But I don't have to worry about battery life. I don't have to worry about electronics going down because the reticle is always going to be there for me. And I do have the option of illumination when I need it. Also, unlike red dots, it gives me auto ranging and subtensions out to 800 yards with the magnification that I need to be effective at those ranges. Durability for this optic seems to be on the high side for magnified optics. From what I've been told, there are the least number of damage claims of any magnified optic that Primary Arms sells, regardless of brand. Of course, it's probably not going to survive getting blown up and still give you a point of aim like a lot of red dots can, but even guys for whom that's a realistic possibility have decided that the trade-off is worth it to them, and I certainly think the trade-off is worth it for my needs. Be sure to use the link in the video description and it'll get you free shipping on your entire order from Primary Arms, plus your choice between 2 different free mounts. It'll also give you discounts on, I think, 5 different upgrade choices for the mounts as well. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You can see the links right here. Be sure to click right here to subscribe so you can catch my next videos on bows, guns, and other cool stuff. Really appreciate you watching Twang and Bang, and I hope to see you next time. You just see your tail. Come over here. There you go. Pretty boy. Show them your face. Show them your face. Look how pretty.